we are going to discuss about the calculus of tensors, so tensor calculus. Now let us first define the differentiation of tensors. So we will first discuss about the differentiation of a tensor. If phi, which is a function of the coordinate xi, is a scalar field, its derivatives with respect to the coordinate, that is partial here. Partial d phi by dxi, if we differentiate with respect to the coordinate here, this is yes. Now we are going to discuss about the differentiation of tensor. If phi is which is a function of coordinate, is a scalar field, its derivatives with respect to the coordinate, that is to define a suffix I, which is equal to partial dA phi by dxi. We differentiate the scalar field phi with respect to xi, d phi by dxi, we call this as a suffix I. Now this transforms like the components of the covariant tensor. So if we differentiate this function, and that value a suffix I is equal to partial d phi by dxi, this transforms like a components of the covariant vector. Now here this is a scalar function phi, this is a scalar function, because if you express the function in the, this is a unbarred coordinate system, the barred coordinate system, we call this as a phi bar is equal to x alpha bar, and phi, which is a function of the coordinate and the barred system, so this is phi, and both are equal because this is a scalar. Being a scalar field, it is a functional form remains invariant. Since the functional form is not altered, phi of xi is the same as the phi of x alpha bar. Now let us differentiate phi with respect to x alpha bar, partial d phi by dx alpha bar. So this is equal to, you differentiate d phi by dxi into dxi by dx alpha bar. So you can write down like this, and d phi by dx alpha bar, d phi by, so you can interchange this one. So here dxi by dx alpha bar, you write down this first factor, and d phi by dxi you can write down the second factor. So you can make an interchange. Now if you define this value d phi by dxi, the d phi by dxi is ai, and d phi by dx alpha bar, so this is equal to a alpha bar. So this is a alpha bar. Then the above equation becomes a alpha bar, a suffix alpha bar. So this is the barred coordinate system. A is in unbarred coordinate system. These two are related by this transformation, partial dxi by dx alpha bar. So this transformation relation tells you that ai and a alpha bar are the components of a covariant tensor. So the transformation relation tells you that these two, ai and a alpha bar, they are related by this transformation, which is if that coefficient obeys this type of transformation, this is a covariant vector. Now differentiate this covariant vector both sides. A partial dA alpha bar by dx. So you differentiate with respect to partial dx alpha bar. Then you first differentiate the first term. If you differentiate the first term, partial dx square xi by dx alpha bar dx beta bar into ai, plus keep the first term constant and you differentiate the second term, partial dx I by dx. So if you differentiate a alpha bar with respect to the coordinate dx beta x beta bar, so you will get the differentiation becomes like this. So you have two terms. Now this can be expressed like this. The partial dx, now the second term can be expressed like this. You introduce dx alpha bar and here dx beta bar. You introduce dxj and dxj here. These are this. Numerator and denominator. Now this function partial dxi by dxj, this factor, the differentiation of this vector with respect to the unbarred coordinate system. This is the differentiation of a alpha bar with respect to the barred coordinate system. These two are related by this transformation relation. Now the first term is absent, then you can see this is a tensor transform type of transformation. Therefore, the differentiation of this vector may be a vectorial type of transformation if the first term is absent. But because of the presence of the first term partial d square xi by partial dx alpha bar dx beta bar, this is a differentiation partial dxi by dxj and dxj, they are not tensors because it is not a tensorial type of transformation between the two coordinates in the end. One is the unbarred coordinate, partial dai by partial dxi is the differentiation of a with respect to the unbarred coordinate system. Dx alpha bar by bar, dx beta bar is the differentiation of this vector in the barred coordinate system. They are not satisfying the tensorial type of transformation because of the presence of the first term. Therefore, this is not a tensor. So the differentiation of this vector is not a tensor. Now let us define Christoffel symbols. The Christoffel symbol, there are two types of symbols. One is Christoffel symbols of the first kind. So this is the first kind. So the first kind is defined by so there are three index symbol I, J, comma K within the box. This is one type of symbol. This is defined as half into partial dxi by partial dxk, partial dx partial dgik by partial dxj plus partial dgjk divided by partial dxi minus partial dgij by dxk. So this g is a metric tensor. So you differentiate so when ijk, so the three index symbol is the first kind. Christoffel symbol for first kind is defined in this half into partial dgik by dxj plus partial dgjk by partial dxi minus partial dgij divided by partial dxi. So this is one definition of the Christoffel symbols of the first kind. This gij are associated the metric tensor. Now there is another symbol, Christoffel symbols of the second kind. This is defined by, this is a symbol gamma. Gamma, here the script is k, the superscript is k, the subscript is ij. Here again it is 3 index symbol, index I, J, K. This is defined by G, K, M into I, J, comma M within the bracket. So this is the Christoffel symbol of the first kind. The Christoffel symbols of the second kind can be expressed in terms of the first kind. This is the Christoffel symbols of the first kind. So G, K, M, I, J, comma M. Since M is repeated, that means there is a summation over it. I, J, K are pre-index and M is the dummy index. So there is a summation over there. Now using the definition of the first kind, I, J, comma M, the Christoffel symbols of the first kind can be expressed by again by using the this definition. So this is equation 1, and using this equation 1, you will substitute here, you will get equation 2. This is half GKM into, if you use the definition of the Christoffel symbols of first kind, this will be partial dg im divided by partial dxj plus partial dg in jm by partial dxi minus partial dg ij by divided by partial dxi. So there are two definite symbols, symbols 1 and 2. Now here there are two ways of expressing the symbol. One is using a gamma symbol. This is a gamma superscript k subscript ij. Some others use this is a symbol k here ij within this within bracket. Using the within bracket you can define or gamma ki. So some others prefer gamma symbol, some others use this wiggle symbol for expressing the Christoffel symbols of the second kind. Now in our lecture we prefer this symbol, gamma symbol for Christoffel symbols of the second kind. Now the metric tensor is a symmetric. We have already discussed that the metric tensor is a symmetric. Therefore the Christoffel symbols have the following symmetry. So this Ji, Ij. So once if we interchange, it will not affect. That can be easily proved, because if you here instead of writing Ij, if you put a Ji, if you replace I and you place I to J, J to I in that equation 1, you will get the same expression. So if you replace I to J and J to I, you will get the same expression 1 again. So if you interchange I and J in the equation 1, it is not altered. So Ji comma K is equal to Ij comma I. So this is there is a symmetry. Similarly, since the Christoffel symbol is symmetric with respect to the two indices Ji for the second symbol also, because the metric tensor is symmetric. Since G, because we already discussed Gij is equal to Gji or Gij is equal to Gji. So since the metric tensor is symmetric, you can write gamma k Ji is equal to gamma k ij. So that is so this is symmetric with respect to the indices I and j. Now let us express the Christoffel symbols of the first kind in the barred and the unbarred coordinate system. So it can be proved easily. So I have not given the proof, but it can be proved very easily. And if this ijk is the Christoffel symbols expressed in the unbarred system, and if you put alpha, beta, comma, gamma in the bracket, so this is expressed in the Christoffel symbols in the barred system. These two are related by the expressions given here. So this is you call this is equation 3. Here partial d square xi by d x alpha bar, partial dx beta bar, into the partial dx j by partial dx gamma bar gij, plus partial dxi by partial dx alpha bar into partial dx j by partial dx beta bar, dxk by partial dx gamma bar. So you get the equation 3. So equation 3 and the critical symbols are the first kind in the barred and the unbarred system is given. So it can be easily proved this expression. But here from the result you see the presence of the first term. So this is your first term, that expression. This is falsely tensorial type of transformation. Therefore, the term, since the first term is present in the equation 3, which these Christoffel symbols cannot be called as a tensor. So Christoffel symbols are not tensor. If the first term is absent, you can say it is a tensor. But because of the presence of the first term, this is not a Christoffel symbols of the Christoffel symbols are not the tensors. Similarly, the Christoffel symbols of the second kind in the unbarred system is gamma k ij. For the barred system, gamma rho alpha beta bar. So these two are related by this transformation. So this is equation 4. So that can be also proved. So using equation 3, you can obtain the expression 4. And again, because of the presence of the first term here, partial d square x by partial dx alpha bar, partial dx beta bar, partial dx rho bar by partial dxi. So because of the presence of the first term in the equation 4, this gamma symbol, so the Christoffel symbols of the second kind is again not a tensor. So the Christoffel symbols of the first kind is not a tensor. Also the Christoffel symbols of the second kind is not a tensor. So the tensorial type of transformation is spoiled because of the presence of the first term in the equation 3 and 4. Now let us evaluate the Christoffel symbols of the first and second kind for the space where Gij is equal to 0. So if for any space you have I runs from 1 to n, j runs from 1 to n if n is the dimension of the space, and let us evaluate the Christoffel symbols of the first and second kind for the space where Gij is equal. So if you express the line element ds square, it will have g11 dx1 square, suppose ds square, it will be g11 dx1 square plus g22 dx2 square plus g33 dx3 whole square and etc. Okay, this is so only g11, g22, g33 are present. For any Gij, this will be 0 when I is not equal to 0. So in this case, now let us first consider the case when I, j, k are equal. I, j, k are equal. Now, so the first kind, the Christoffel symbol of the first kind, let us say according to the definition, I, j, k, in the box symbol, I, j, k. By the definition, it is often the g, I, k, j plus g, j, k, I minus g, I, j, k. So this is according to the definition we can write on this expression. Now put I is equal to j is equal to k. So once if you put I is equal to j is equal to k, so here it is I comma I, which is equal to. So whenever if you replace I is equal to j is equal to k, if you put, then that means there is no summation. Originally we have defined whenever the two indices are repeated, there is a summation, Einstein's summation, I runs from 1 to n. But now we are putting exact value. So I is equal to j is equal to k. So here I comma I, there is no summation. That is important. So no summation. So in that case, of you put I comma I plus g I comma I minus g I comma I. So by simplifying this, you will get this. So there is no summation. That is important. So it may be if we put I is equal to 1, this is equal to 1 1 comma 1 means half into g 1 1 comma 1. That is the meaning. That is partial dx partial dg ia comma partial dx. So this because we have defined g I j comma k according to the definition. This is called partial d g I j by partial dxk. So this comma represents the normal derivative. This comma represents a normal derivative. And therefore, g I j comma k means partial d g I j. You have to differentiate partial with respect to partial d g x k. That is the meaning. The meaning of the comma means there is a derivative, partial derivative with respect to the coordinate x. So in the second case, if you put I is equal to j and which is not equal to k, so this is your second case. In this case, ij comma k can be, j can be replaced by j can be put into I comma k. So here from the definition you replace j is equal to I and the equation becomes like this, and finally reduces to this form minus half GIA comma k. So here again there is no summation over I, and here GIK is 0 because we already defined if the two indices are repeated, GIK is equal to 0. So we are considering the problem itself, it is given. And so here Gij is equal to 0. So this is given. Therefore, now let us discuss about the next case, case 3. In case 3, you put I is equal to k and which is not equal to j. I is equal to k which is not equal to j. So in the from the definition of the critical symbols of the first kind, you put k is equal to I, so I and j. So this is are equal and j is different. So by using the definition, you will get this expression. So you will get this expression. Simplifying this, you will get this. And here also j is 0. This is given. Here there is no summation over I, because partially GII means there is no summation, because we have substituted I is equal to k, which is not equal to k. So whenever you substitute the index, the summation is there is no summation over the particular index. Now let us consider the case 4. In case 4, all are different. I, j, k, all are different. According to the definition, this is the expression. But since all are different, gik is 0, gjk is 0, gij is 0. So all are 0, which is given. Therefore, this expression, this value is 0. So these 4 cases are important in evaluating the Christoffel symbols. So far we have discussed about the value of the Christoffel symbols for 4 different cases. Now let us evaluate the Christoffel symbols of the second kind. With the definition, this is the Christoffel symbols of the second kind. Now let us here. This is important. This is a contravariant vector, contravariant metric vector. This is a metric tensor. So you have to evaluate gij. That can be obtained from gij. This is given. If a line element is given, gij we know. So from this we have to find the contravariant metric tensor gij. So we have this property gjk, the contravariant tensor of this is a covariant metric tensor, and this is a gpk is a contravariant tensor. And if you have an outer product, you get this is the delta pj. When pj are equal, then gjj gij is equal to. So this is again there is no summation over j. Ji gjj is equal to 1. So if you want to find the element of metric tensor, jth element of the metric tensor, contravariant metric tensor, that is equal to 1 by g jj, where this jj is the jth element of the covariant metric tensor. So this is jth element of the contravariant metric tensor, this is jth element of the covariant. So this is gjth, the covariant element is given. So from this the contravariant element can be determined. Also gjkl is that is important. When k is not equal to l, this will be 0, gjkl. So this is kl, l are different, and this value is 0. Now let us consider the first case. I is equal to j is equal to k. So this is the first case. So according to the definition, so this is the Christoffel symbols of the second kind. You put I, j is equal to k, all are equal. So once if you substitute this value I, j, k are equal, and there is no summation over I. There is no summation over I. So according to the definition, this becomes GII, IA, comma I. So this is the Christoffel symbols of the first kind. So the second kind can be expressed in terms of this first kind. But these Christoffel symbols of the first kind we have already evaluated. This is equal to half times partial d gi by d xi. So this is already evaluated. You substitute the value, and if you this result becomes half into partial d by dxi of the remaining part will be logarithm of g. So if you differentiate, you will get this expression. From this expression, it can be expressed like this. Then we will go to the next case when I is equal to j and which is not equal to k. So in this definition, this is the definition of the Christoffel symbols of the second kind. You put I is equal to j, so this becomes I. So I, j are equal. So I is equal to I, and according to the definition, this becomes like this. Again, you must remember that there is no summation over it. That is important. There is no summation over it. Now here, this m, there is a summation over m according to the definition. So you have to perform the summation over I, k, and summation over m. So when m is different from k, what is the value? G, k, m. K, m are different. This G, J, K, M is G, K, m is equal to 0. And k is not equal to m, and therefore here only when k is equal to m and m is equal to k, so both are equal, this is a non-vanishing value. So this becomes this is I k, this term, and we have already defined the contravariant component is equal to 1 divided by g of kk. This is the covariant component. We have already shown this one. So you substitute this value instead of g kk contravariant component, you write on the covariant component g kk. So the Kirchhoff symbols of the second kind k I, this is equal to because I comma k, the Kirchhoff symbol of the first kind that we have already evaluated. So you substitute this value, you will get this expression. So this is the Kirchhoff symbols of the second kind when I is equal to j, it's not equal to. Case 3, I is equal to k and j is k is not equal to j. So this is according to the definition, you write down this one. You substitute I is equal to k. So this I and k are equal. There is a sum. So according to the definition, this will be g I m I j m. And here there is a summation over m. That is there is a summation over m, but there is no summation over I. That is important. No summation over I. There is summation over m only. So when I is equal to m only, it is a non-vanishing value. Otherwise, it is 0. So you put I is equal to m. So I j comma I. So only. So when m is equal to I, now there is no summation over I. So if you put m is equal to I, you perform the summation over m. When m becomes I, this is the expression. Now what is g I? This is equal to 1 by, this is a contravariant metric tensor, the component of the contravariant metric tensor, ith component of the contravariant metric tensor, that can be expressed by 1 by g I, which is the ith component of the covariant metric tensor, that is in. And you substitute for I, j comma I from your previous relation. If you substitute back, you will get this expression. So half 1 by g I partial d xi divided by partial dxj. So you get this expression. Now let us so this can be expressed. Now let us consider the case 4. All are different. I, j, k are different. If it is different, then according to the definition, this is the expression. You have to perform the summation over m, and when m is equal to k, g k k I j comma m, k I j comma k, I j since if all are different, this is 0. This is already calculated previously. So the crystal symbols of the first kind, this value is 0 if all are identical, because this is equal to 0. Therefore this expression becomes 0. So gamma k I j is 0 if all are distinct. So the crystal symbols of the first kind as well as the second kind are 0 if all are distinct. Now from this we can evaluate crystal symbols if any line element is given. Now here the line we are considering the Schwarzschild metric, because this is a metric is used in the theory of relativity. So we are taking such an metric which is useful. So find all the non-zero Christoffel symbols of the first and second kind for the Schwarzschild metric, which is given by d s square is equal to e power nu is a function of c square dt square minus e power lambda r, which is a function of r. So here nu is a function of r, here lambda is a function of r, dr square and minus r square d theta square minus r square sin square theta d phi square. So this is this metric we call as a Schwarzschild metric. Because this Schwarzschild metric is we are using for the discussion of the general theory of relativity. Now how will you find the Christoffel symbols? Now in this problem there are what are the coordinates? There are 4 coordinates. The time is one coordinate here. So x naught is equal to ct one coordinate. X is 1. Another coordinate is r. Another one coordinate is theta and phi. So r, theta, phi as well as t. There are 4 coordinates. And the metric tensor has elements. So what are g0, 0? The coefficient of the c square t square. That is given e power nu r. The coefficient of dr square is g11. So g00 is g11. Coefficient of d theta square in d square expression, this is minus r square, and g33 is minus r square sin square. So there are 4 metric tensor, the covariant metric tensor. The components of the metric tensor is can be obtained from that expression ds square. For all other elements, when I is different from j, so for all other elements, gij is equal to 0. So here the non-vanishing elements. Let us calculate the non-vanishing elements. So the first kind. So that can be obtained by using the results that we have discussed in the previous problem. So the discussion of the evaluation of the Christoffel symbols of the first kind with non-vanishing components. So this is expression. This is already evaluated. I comma I. This is half with partial dii by dxi. So you put I is equal to 0, 0, 0, 0. So this is the first coordinate. I is equal to 0, I is equal to 1, I is equal to 2, I is equal to 3. There are 4 coordinates. So from the result, this is equal to half g00 by dx0. x0 is c and t, the time coordinate. So this is your time coordinate. And g00 we have already, this is e power nu is a function of r. So you substitute for g00, which is e power nu is a function of r. This is t. So since it is a function of r and we have to differentiate with respect to time, this becomes 0. So this value becomes 0. 1, 1, comma 1. So for I is equal to 1 and j is equal to 1, k is equal to 1. According to the definition, this is the result. Now you substitute for g11. G11 is, we have already from the line element, expression of the line element, g11 is minus e power lambda of r partial dx1. What is the x1? x1 is r coordinate. So d by dr of minus e power minus lambda, which is a function of r. So if we differentiate, this is half into, you differentiate this expression e power lambda r into, and you have to differentiate lambda because lambda is a function of r, you have to differentiate this part also. So it becomes lambda prime. So we will get this expression. So 1, 1, comma 1 is this minus half into lambda prime into e power lambda. 2, 2, 2. So put all our identical indices. When I is equal to j is equal to k is equal to 2, and according to the definition, here d by d theta, but what is g22? G22 is minus r square. You have to differentiate with respect to d theta, so this is 333 half into d5, so this is the coordinate is 5, and here the g 33 is equal to minus r square sine square theta. So this is independent of 5. So if we differentiate, this becomes. So all these non-vanishing symbols of the first kind, when I is equal to j is equal to k, I evaluated. Now let us go to the second case, I is equal to j is equal to k. So this expression we have already evaluated, and now you substitute I is equal to 0, j, so this is 0 0, and k must be different. So k should not be 0. So I 0 0 comma 1 possibility, 0 0 2 and 0 0 3. So now let us evaluate 0 0. So this is from using the result, this becomes half into g 0 0 by dx1. Dx1 is the coordinate is r, and g 0 0 is e power v r. So you put differentiate, you will be 0 0 2. So partial d g 0 0 by dx2, x2 coordinate is theta. Therefore, you put differentiate. So this is a function of r. This is a you have to differentiate with respect to theta. So you will get this result 0 0 0 3, and again this is a function of 5, and you have to differentiate. This is 0 0 is e power nu r. So this is a function of r, and you have to differentiate with 5. Therefore, this is becomes 0. So 0 0 3 is also 0. Again, if you put I is equal to 1, I is equal to 1, j is equal to 1, and k different ways. K is different from I 1. So 1 comma 0 according to the definition. This is r minus half partial d g 1 1 by dx 0. This is from the result. You can write down this expression. And x0 is ct time coordinate, and g11 is a function of r minus e power. So this is a function of r. So you differentiate, this will be c. Again, let us find this is 1 1 2, because k must be different. So we should not choose 1 1 1 here. 1 1 comma 2, and again if you use the result and a substitute for here, this is e power minus lambda r, and this is d theta. So once if we since this is independent of there is no theta form here, so if we differentiate, this will be 113 half g 1 by dx3. dx3 means here this is a function of 5. So this is you have to differentiate with respect to 5, but g11 is e power lambda, so it is independent of 5. So if we differentiate, this will be 0. So for the second case also we have to determine. The next case, 2 2 0, I is equal to j is equal to 2, k must be 0. Again using this definition, that can be expressed by minus half partial d g 2 2 by partial d x0. x0 is ct, and here it is minus r square is g 2 2. So if differentiate, this will be 0. 2 2 comma 1, here minus half d by dr of minus r square. So it can be differentiated. Once you differentiate, you will get this. So this is a non-vanishing value. 2 2 3. 2 2 2 is we are not considering, only k must be different. So 2 2 comma 3 is equal to according to the result of the previous problem, this can be expressed by minus half into partial d of minus r square, because g22 is minus r square. dx3 x3 is 5 coordinate, so it is independent of 5. Therefore, this result is also 0. Again, you consider I is equal to j is equal to 3, k is different. K first you choose 0, partial d g33 by x0. This must be 0, because this is the time coordinate. g33 is independent of time, so it is 0. And 331, here g33 is r square sin theta, x1 is r. So your constant is a constant, theta is a constant. So sin square theta can be taken out. I will differentiate r partial d r square by dr, so we get 2r. Already there is a minus cancel, the 2 cancel, so the result will be r sine square. So you get this result. So and 332 minus half into partial d of minus r square sine theta, and you have to differentiate with respect to theta because x2 coordinate is theta. Once if you differentiate, you will get this result. So this is a non-vanishing. So from this you get this. Now let us take the case 3. I is equal to k, which is not equal to j. So you put I here, k, both are equal in the j. So from the result of the previous problem, so you can write down the result first, and now substitute the particular indices. You put I is equal to j is equal to 0, 0, and so this I 0, 0, and this j must be different 1. So 0, 1, comma 0 is equal to half partial dx g 0, 0 by dx1. x1 is r coordinate, g 0, 0 is e power nu r. So if you differentiate, you will get this half into nu prime in the e power nu of r, and 1, 1, 1, 0. This is both are 1, and this is the 1, 1, 0. Using this result, this one here it x0 is ct is a time coordinate, and this is independent of time, so it is 0. And if you put 2, 2, 0 here, half into, so from the result of the previous problem, partial dg 2 by partial dx0. x0 is a time coordinate, g22 is independent of time, so this is 0. Therefore similarly 3, 0, comma 3 is also 0. Now 0, 2, 0 here, half partial d 0, 0 by dx2, this coordinate, dx2 is a theta coordinate, therefore g 0, 0 is independent of theta, therefore if you differentiate, this becomes 0. Similarly 0, 3, comma 0 is here partial d e power nu r divided by d5. So this is a function of phi, and it is not a function of phi, therefore you will differentiate, you will get this. 1, 2, 1. This is 1 and 1, these are identical, 1 and 1. And from the result you write down this is half into g 1, 1 by dx square, dx2, not x square, dx2, and the g11 is we know this is minus e power lambda of r by this is a d theta. Since it is independent of theta, you get this is 0. 2, 3, comma 2, this is half partial d g22 by dx3, and g22 is minus r square, and dx3 is 5. Therefore this is 3, 0, comma 3 of partial d g33 by dx0. So x0 is ct, is time, and g33 is independent of time, therefore this result is opposite. And 3, 1, comma 3. So by the definition, this is half into partial d g33 by dx1, which is half into g33 is minus r square sine square theta, and the x1 coordinate is r. So you have to differentiate with respect to r alone partially. So sine square theta, that can be taken as a constant. So if you do the partial differentiation, we will get this. 3, 2, comma 3, again half into partial d g33 by dx2. x2 is a theta coordinate. Here g33, there is a function of sine square theta. So you have to take r square as a constant term, and you differentiate the sine square theta. This is 2 sine theta cos theta. Already 2 is there in the denominator. 2 remove, can be cancelled. So the final result is minus r square sine theta cos theta. Now let us take the case 4. I is equal to j is equal to k. They are not equal to k. I is not equal to j, which is not equal to k. So in this case, this value is 0. I is k or 0. This is already shown. So 0, 1, 2, R102, R123, R213, R231, R321, 310, 130, 031, 300 for all these values are. So whenever I, j, k are different, these values are 0. So far we have calculated the Kirchhoff symbols of the first kind. Now let us evaluate the Kirchhoff symbols of the second kind. Second kind we have already shown for different cases when I, j, k are equal. This is the expression. I, j, k are equal. Here there is no summation override. That is important. There is no summation override. First let us avoid gamma 1 1. 1 by 2 g11 partial d g11 by dx1. G11 we know from the line element. You know this. You can easily pick out this expression minus e power lambda r dg. G is equal to minus half e power minus lambda of r. X1 coordinate r, so you can differentiate this one. So once you differentiate, this expression becomes like this. So this can be removed, cancelled. E power minus lambda r may be cancelled. So the final expression is half into lambda prime of r. And by using gamma k ij, this is ij are equal and k is different. Then you put k is equal to 1. You put k is equal to 1. From the result, this is minus half g11 partial d g00 by dx1. Here you know the value of g11 and g00 is e power mu r. X1 is a function of r. So you can differentiate this one. So this is. So this is your result. And gamma 1 0 0. This is the value that you have already calculated. And if you put gamma 1, this is 2 2 because it should not be 1 1. For the second case, it is 2 2. Gamma 1 2 2. According to the definition, you can write down this expression. So substitute for g11 and you differentiate with respect to x1. X1 is a coordinate r. So g22 is already minus r square. So you differentiate, you will get this expression. So finally, you have this expression, this line. Gamma 1 3 3. Gamma 1 3 3 minus 1 by 2 g11 g partial d g33 by dx1 g33 is minus r square sin square theta and x1 is r, so you can differentiate r keeping theta constant, so you will get this expression. So this is the result. And by using this is a ij 1 by 2 gii partial d gii by dxj, we get gamma 0 1 0. Now since it is symmetric with respect to these two indices, so this is same as because we have already defined gamma k ij is equal to gamma k gi. So using this you can express this expression, but from the result this can be 1 by 2 g00 partial d g00 by x1, and if you differentiate you get this expression. So this is the result. Then similarly gamma 2 2 1 you can write down this expression using the result you can write on this expression, substitute for G22, and if you differentiate this expression, you can see. So this is one non-vanishing value. Gamma 331, which is equal to gamma 13. By the definition, you can first write down this one, and you substitute G33, and you differentiate with respect to x1 coordinate. x1 is a coordinate is a r. So here minus r square sin square theta. So sin theta is a constant term. So differentiate, you will get this. Gamma 332 is equal to gamma 323. 1 by 2 G33 partial d G33 by dx2, and then here this is the coordinate theta. Here since there is a sin square theta can be differentiated, you will get this expression. So all the non-vanishing value of the crystal symbols of the first kind and the second kind can be easily derived. So in this lecture we have demonstrated, we first defined the definition of the tensor. This is a tensor calculus. We are finding the differentiation of a tensor with respect to a coordinate. And then we defined the Kirchhoff symbols of the first and the second kind. And third, we have given a line element for a given space. So here we are considering Schwarzschild metric. For this metric, we have determined the Kirchhoff symbols of the first and second kind. So for if any metric is given, we can calculate the Kirchhoff symbols of the first and second kind.